Hi, and welcome to the Squeaky Wheel Farm. I'm Christine, and today I'd just like to walk you around the farm and show you what we've got going on. It is late fall. A lot of the leaves have fallen, and there's still more to come yet, but we had a heck of a storm last week and got a foot of really heavy wet snow that I thought for sure was going to stick, but it's since warmed up and everything's melted, but it did cause us to step up our program a little bit. I don't want to give you the impression that everything on this farm is work, work, work. We do have time to sit by the fire. We do have time to have people over and enjoy meals of fresh cooked food. And that's just a really good feeling to be able to make a meal with something that you've produced entirely on your farm. It's so easy to throw a whole chicken in the crock pot, a chicken that I've raised, with a couple of potatoes that I've raised, or some carrots. And when we sit down to eat that, it just feels good because I know exactly what's in our food. And I think it helps to keep us a little healthier than if we were just buying processed food from the store. And I do enjoy cooking and baking. As you can tell, I'm overweight, so I do like to make things, and I'm not a half bad cook. So yeah, let me show you around the farm. You can see what we've got going on. There's still a lot of work to do, and it'll get done. There's always more to do, so if it doesn't get done, it will get done eventually. That's just how things go around here. There's an endless amount of work, but we enjoy it. It's good for us. It gives us good exercise, gets us out in nature, gets us in the fresh air, keeps us moving, and we have a good time doing it, especially when we bring our grandkids over and have them stack our firewood with us, or clean up apples. So yeah, I'm so happy that we are blessed to have this beautiful farm. I'm glad that I'm able to share it with you and to walk you around and just show you what we've got going on as far as the chickens and the cows and the dogs. The garden's over now, so we'll be switching up to probably some cooking and baking in the house for just wintertime projects. Wintertime around here is a time of rest. We do heat with wood, so that's a chore, but it's a good chore. Keeps us strong, keeps our back strong and our muscles strong. And I do love the heat. I do love sitting by the fire and just enjoying that warmth. So last week we had a freak snowstorm, and we had a foot of snow here. And since then, all the temperatures have warmed up, and I just wanted to show you there's still apples in the tree, apples on the ground. So I have quite a bit more that I can feed the chickens, feed the cows, but it does take a little bit of effort. I do have to clean it up, pick it up, and the dogs are still enjoying the apples. I've made applesauce, I've made apple pie filling, I've frozen apple slices for pies and things. So we have had just such a really abundant apple crop this year that we're really blessed. It's just it is a little overwhelming at times. Not complaining, just saying that was a really good apple crop this year. Now this tree here has lost most of his leaves already from that last snowstorm, but this one, now we don't spray, so don't judge me because the apples are not in great shape, but it's kind of like a Granny Smith apple tree. And the apples do get kind of large, but they are tart. So there's only certain things that you can do with them. I can make applesauce out of them, and they make wonderful pies. But it's not something that I would store for fresh eating because we just don't really enjoy really tart apples. Now, one of the jobs that I do need to get to, and relatively soon, these trees need to be pruned. We have had just phenomenal growth since we put some wood chips around the bases of these trees. And I planted these 2 years ago, I believe. And they were just, in the gallon or two pots that you get from Lowe's, Menards. But I really do need to work on getting these trees pruned. Hey, Crow, are you enjoying apples too? The cows do really love the apples and they come running. But your hooves are all wet, so you must have been walking through some mud. Where's everyone else? You're not telling them, huh? Oliver? No. You get your own apples, buddy. You're not telling everybody that there's apples here? And Ollie just loves the apples too. Carries them around in his mouth, loves when we throw them for him, and play fetch with them for a little while. And then he'll just sit down and have a little snack. And it's good for his teeth, keeps him nice and clean. And it keeps him from eating other things that he shouldn't be eating, like cow poop and other nasty stuff. Hey, beautiful little one. Having a hard time crunching that apple. So with the cold weather, the grass has stopped growing and the grazing is done. So he put a bale in this bale feeder today, and two little monsters are in there. You're not supposed to be inside there. That's not where you're supposed to be. Oh. So when we built this feeder, last winter or the winter before, I don't remember. We were following some plans. Basically, any of the equipment that we had bought, we measured out the gap and thought that would be sufficient to keep the calves out of there, and it's not. So I really don't know what we're going to come up with to try and keep them out, because, well, I don't mind them getting in there just to get out of the wind or whatever, but they have the opportunity to urinate and poop in there, and that's not a good thing. So yeah, we need to figure out how to keep them out of there. We can't just wait for them to grow out of it, because, you know, there's going to be more calves next year. Well, hello, you're enjoying that, aren't you? There's apples in the other pasture. The cows all look really good. Everybody looks healthy. They're putting on good weight as far as the mamas and the calves. Everybody's growing well, and that's always a good thing. So our regimen for feeding these animals does change a little bit in the fall. First of all, we try to feed out anything that's available, garden scraps, pumpkins, leftover corn. It's in our garden still. The stalks even have some nutrition to them. Hi, sweetie. And you'd be surprised at what they will eat. And we do feed hay now that the grass is done, but it's nice to be able to offer them a treat as far as apples and pumpkins and different things. Even the sunflowers, they'll go crazy for them too. They really love those. We did pick up some more mineral the other day, so we got that filled up as well. Because sometimes when you're feeding hay, you just never know if you're missing some nutrients. Now, big time farmers, you know, they probably send their hay out and get the nutrients tested just to make sure that, especially dairy farmers, they do that a lot. to make sure that their feed program is appropriate and that their animals are getting everything that they need. But for us, since we're small time and, you know, just we rarely ever get over 20 head, just offering mineral seems to do the trick and keep our animals healthy and happy. What are you two doing? All these trees here are maples. Some of them have lost all their leaves and some of them haven't, so got a bit to clean up here. I'm gonna get a chance. I'll either run them over them or just rake them up onto a tarp and then put them inside the chicken coop, because they'll go through them and scratch and eat up any of the ticks and bugs that are in there and benefit from having that extra bedding. It also helps with the deep litter method that we use, where we just keep adding fresh layers on top to keep the coop fresh so that they aren't, you know, dragging around in their own feces, and that we aren't stepping in the poop when we go out there to collect the eggs. Oh, I know this camera view is not ideal because of the way the sun is, but yet another load of firewood delivered the other day. This is the third load. So we've been in the process of getting all that stacked in this little wood shed that we have. And while it doesn't look like a lot of work, man, is it ever. It's a whole lot of bending over and picking up and then setting back down, and it doesn't sound like much. And it's really good exercise. But we usually go through 3 or 4 cords of wood in the wintertime. Since we've been using the wood burner, we absolutely love the heat that we get from it. So since we've been burning wood, and I think this is the 2nd or 3rd year, because we ripped out our fireplace and went and bought a wood burner and had it installed professionally, and it heats our whole house, which is pretty amazing because our home is not small. And it's just such a deliciously warm heat that it just really feels good. You walk in there, everyone that comes to our house to visit always says, oh, it's so warm in here and it feels so good. So we're going to be working on getting this hopefully last stack of firewood stacked into the shed. Our goal is to have 3 to 4 cords, and a cord is 4 foot by 4 foot by 8 foot. So 3 to 4 cords will more than cover our heating and allow us to have some firewood for making maple syrup, and hopefully have some left over so we can have some campfires and bonfires in the spring and summer next year. So yeah, I love burning wood. I know it's some extra work, but it keeps us in shape. So we had some friends drop off their Halloween pumpkins. They're already on to decorating for Christmas, but the chickens just absolutely love them. And you really don't have to do much. I mean, you could cut them open or whatever. We just throw them in here so that they break. The chickens will go after them, and they'll get it. They'll eat the seeds, they'll eat the pumpkin. It's got a lot of nutrients and vitamins for them. The seeds are really good. And it helps them a lot this time of year because some of them are going through their molt, and it just really provides the nutrition that they need to be able to replace all their feathers. So, yeah, girls, you didn't have to go inside just because I'm here. But anyway, one or two of these pumpkins, I'm going to steal some seeds and save them for next year to plant. Well, that's all I've got for you today. Thanks for watching. Oh, and one more thing. I hope to see you again soon.